Hi, this is Suraj, your host on Unleashing Talent, and today we would be talking about something very, very important. This is something that is really the blinder spot, if I may say, and it is also something that has always stopped us from doing something that we want to. So, on the one hand, we want to do something, all right, and on the other hand, we have an excuse not to do it. Have you come across people who have this kind of syndrome? Well, we can call it something like do it now syndrome, right? And don't do it now syndrome. So, the idea generation that happens in mind is very quick, very fast, lightning. But the question is, why does that happen? In my view, that happens because somewhere deep into you is the affirmation and assertion that you can do it. All right, so you get an idea, you get a dream, and you feel you want to do it, and you can do it, and you can accomplish it, and you would feel good after accomplishing it. So that story gets built into your mind. Now, that's the first side of it. The second side of it, when you think of accomplishing it, you start thinking of the how. And when you think of the how, you start thinking what you need. And when you think of what you need, you start thinking about you need money, you need people, you need resources, you need time, you need energy, there are so many things that you start building in terms of what you need. And when you do that, you transcend to the next step in terms of what is possible, what is not possible, what all you can do. So, finance, you don't have, people, you don't have, resources, you don't have. You start surrounding a beautiful idea that you generated by not doing syndrome, right? You find excuse. I wouldn't say excuses, but that's how we are designed to. We are designed to get great ideas, and we are also designed to, create situations for ourselves to do it. And we are also designed to, create situations how we cannot do it. Now, the negative design is more dominant in our nature. I'm sure you would agree, right? So the fear, the threat, should I do, should I not do? So the doubt and the self-doubt or negativity and all, they overpower your thinking brain faster. Now that's the reason why many people would come to you, or maybe sometimes you, or maybe a great leader is not able to take the first step or a decision because they get surrounded by the situations that do not allow them to open themselves. So I'll give you an example. A child wants to talk to the father, doesn't do it because they have 5 misperceptions that the father would not listen to, they would not understand you. Now, a CEO, on the other hand, wants to go into a market, but he has sometimes, not always, created the big wall of why it is not possible. Same way, you as a leader might perceive someone that he or she will not be able to do it. And the moment the negative thinking takes over, you become absolutely sure in terms of different ways and different solid reasons of why something is not possible. So your entire focus is on how and why it is not possible, and you become very, very adamant to that, and you are absolutely sure of why it is not possible. So the entire focus is a closed approach. And don't worry, that's natural. That happens with all of us. One fine morning, a child wakes up and wants to fly an aeroplane. That's not possible. It takes ages for that individual to fly in the air, and flying a flight, flight is even more difficult. So you understand what I'm saying. So this I'm not saying that all of you are prey to this, but this is how the reality is. Now let me recapitulate the reality for your better understanding. When you get a great idea, it means you have it and you can do it and you want to do it and you know how you would feel after doing it and you have fair idea of its result and positive impact. So that's your ideation. Then you start thinking of how to do it, and then that's when you start getting into what you need. And when you start getting into what you need, you start thinking of the whole resources, people, stuff like that. And then when you start thinking of resources, you obviously don't have resources. So when you don't have resources, it will start kicking you with negative thoughts. And then the next level, you start thinking why it is not possible for you to do it. So, have you come across people who will tell you, no, it is not possible. I cannot do it. I have tried it and this is not, possible. So, as we recapitulate, the next level I want to remind you of is we are designed to think this way. Now, what is the message I'm giving? The message I'm giving you is you have to train your brain. All right, so how you train your brain? You shift to the solution mindset, what we typically call, or the growth mindset. So when you change your style, you start thinking not about the entire resources that you need to accomplish something. You start thinking, what is it that you need to do the first thing in that task? All right. It could be as simple as you're working on a project, and as a part of the project, there are so many things you have to do, but first thing you have to do is to create a plan on your PPT. So just focus on the plan. Remember, when you achieve something, you feel motivated. When you feel motivated, you feel achieved, and you do a step by step. So that's the mantra that aligns to this thought also. So when you get an idea, that's your talent, that's your potential, why you get the idea. Not everyone does that. And when you get it, you start thinking of how it is possible, what is it that you can do, what is within your reach, and take the first step. So in my view, we should not waste too much of time thinking. Else, if I ask you to recall something that you wanted to do and you have not been able to do in your life, you would say, wow, I have been thinking of doing it for 10 years and 5 years or 1 year or many, many years, right? So why does that happen? Because somewhere at that point of time, you felt that was not possible and it did not have the resources, right? The situation was not favorable, and we would convince ourselves. We would definitely convince ourselves that, I could have done this, but I did not have the resources. So it is a choice that we have to make. Either we have to be on this side of the river or the other side of the river. But what I'm trying to convey you and tell you as a truth based on my experience is that take the first step, all right, and then work on it. Because you already have a positive. The best thing that you need to do something is you already have, which is a great idea for you. But to execute that idea, you start thinking positive. And don't just start thinking positive, right? Start taking action. All right. So let's say you want to, build your career into the management side. So what is it that you would do? That's a question you should ask. If you have a feeling that you want to and you can, then you start working towards that. Whether it requires you to network, it requires you to talk to people, it requires you to work on some additional project, you start reaching out to people. So when a great idea comes, start looking at how it can be done positively. And that's what is the growth mindset. So to summarize, please switch over to possibility and actions and solutions and growth mindset. You are confronted with a problem. Now there are two ways. You start thinking why that problem happened, how that problem happened, how it is impacting, how it will impact tomorrow, how it will impact the day after, and how it's going to impact our life, our business, our team, blah, blah, blah. The option 2 is, remember, option A is natural. That is how we are designed, so that would happen. But option 2 is, we are confronted with problem. Okay, so what is the first thing we should do? What is the second thing we should do? How can we do the first thing? We don't have this, so what is the alternative? We don't have resources. What is it that we do? I remember one of the projects I did, when I was in a multinational IT company was, people talked always about budget. I need money, I need budget, I need money, and I need budget. And there was a big change management initiative that we drove, and the shift was from budgets to business planning. So when people come to us for budgets, we used to say, what is the business plan? When people started making business plans, it was an eye-opening. People started coming out with a lot of ideas in terms of how they don't need budget, they don't need money, they have innovative ideas, creative ideas. They come with all the different ways of doing things, with less budget, with no budget, with a minimum budget. And of course, some who came to ask for larger budget also assured that they would have a greater profit and revenue generation or customer satisfaction, so on and so forth. So coming back again and again, the point I'm trying to make here is that the call of your heart, the call of your soul, and the call of your talent and your potential comes to you as an idea. So you testify that idea and do not surround yourself with negative thoughts on that idea, which is natural. And I know I repeated these things quite often on this podcast, but that was required. So you have a great idea and you feel you cannot do it? No, you have a great idea, and that's what you need to start with, right? And start thinking how you could do, what amount you could do, how you can start thinking from the solution perspective, start thinking from the possibility perspective. You would start being, and that is how you will become optimist. And that is how you would start growing, and you would start feeling motivated, and you start feeling achieved and accomplished, and you try and be in the motivation zone. So that's absolutely important. I'm hoping this podcast was helpful to you. I can go on and speak for a very long time, but I would cut short here. I'm not sure if the message is clear to you or not. But I'm sure all of you have experienced it, and I have learned it from many of you. So wish you good luck for your next idea. Keep unleashing your talent and your potential. In the next podcast, we would come with some fascinating topic. We are getting the feedback from people and asking them in terms of what is the topic they would like us to talk. I hope we would be talking about the alignment. I think that is going to be very interesting, and hopefully you all would like it. So thanks for being with me on this learning journey. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.